First contact's price. Captain Maya Santos stood at the viewport of the ESS Hyperion, watching Earth's orbital defense platforms burn. The Nephilim had arrived without warning 6 hours ago, their crystalline ships cutting through humanity's most advanced defenses like paper. Now, as the last remnants of Earth's fleet fought a desperate holding action, Maya could only watch as centuries of human progress crumbled before an alien onslaught. Multiple bogies, bearing 340. Lieutenant Rodriguez called from his tactical station. Energy signatures matched the leading wave. They're charging weapons. Maya's fingers tightened on the command rail. Status of the civilian evacuation. 70% complete. Communications Officer Chen reported, her voice steady despite the chaos. But we need another 20 minutes to clear the remaining shelters. 20 minutes they didn't have. The Nephilim ships moved with impossible precision, their formation shifting like a living organism. They hadn't bothered with demands or ultimatums, just appeared at the edge of the solar system and began systematically dismantling human civilization. Engineering reports quantum core at maximum capacity. Rodriguez added, "One more direct hit, and we're done, Captain." Maya closed her eyes, processing their options. The Hyperion was humanity's most advanced warship, incorporating breakthrough quantum technology that the conservatives on Earth had called too dangerous to deploy. Now those same critics were probably dust, and their caution seemed like a luxury from a more innocent time. All hands, this is the captain. Maya broadcast ship-wide. I won't lie to you. We're outmatched. But there are still thousands of civilians counting on us for those 20 minutes. Whatever happens next, remember, we're not just fighting for survival. We're fighting for everything humanity could become. She turned to her science officer, Dr. Sarah Walker. That experimental quantum shielding you've been working on, is it ready? Sarah's eyes widened. Captain, it's completely untested. The theoretical models suggest human consciousness might be able to interface directly with quantum fields, but the neural load could be fatal. More fatal than those. Maya gestured at the Nephilim ships advancing on their position. Hook it up. To my station. Captain, regulations state. Regulations assumed we'd be fighting enemies who followed rules of engagement. Hook it up. The next few minutes passed in a blur of activity as Sarah's team worked to integrate the quantum shielding system with the captain's neural interface. The Nephilim drew closer, methodically destroying anything in their path. Interface ready, Sarah reported. But Captain, there's something else. During development, we detected patterns in the quantum field that suggested consciousness. Not human, not alien, but something else. If this works, you might experience. Time's up, Rodriguez shouted. Enemy ships, firing range. Maya slammed her palm onto the neural interface panel. Now, the universe exploded behind her eyes. Her consciousness expanded, touching quantum fields she hadn't known existed. The Hyperion wasn't just a ship anymore. It was an extension of her nervous system. She could feel every circuit, every power conduit, every quantum particle in its structure. And in that moment of connection, she felt something else. A presence in the quantum field, ancient and vast. It reached for her mind with tendrils of pure mathematics, and Maya understood with sudden clarity. The Nephilim weren't the first advanced species to threaten younger civilizations. And somewhere in humanity's desperate quantum experiments, they'd accidentally tapped into a defense protocol left behind by some long-vanished race. All power to forward shields. The words came from Maya's mouth, but the commands flowed directly from her merged consciousness to the ship's systems. The Hyperion's quantum core pulsed with new energy patterns, turning the very fabric of space into a barrier. The Nephilim weapons struck, and for the first time since the invasion began, failed to penetrate. Maya felt the impact as if on her own skin, but the shield held. More than held, it began to adapt, quantum patterns shifting faster than any computer could calculate, driven by human intuition linked directly to the underlying fields of reality. Impossible, Sarah whispered. staring at her readings. The quantum field is learning, evolving. Captain, your brain patterns are changing. Maya barely heard her. The presence in the quantum field was growing stronger, showing her possibilities she'd never imagined. The Nephilim weren't invincible. They were simply further along a technological path humanity had barely begun to explore. But they'd never encountered a species that could merge consciousness with quantum reality itself. "Get those civilians evacuated," Maya ordered, her voice resonating with harmonics that made the bridge crew shiver. "And send everything we're learning to Earth's surviving quantum labs." The Nephilim thought they were dealing with primitives who would break under their first show of force. She allowed herself a grim smile as the enemy ships futilely battered against the Hyperion's evolving quantum shields. Time to show them how dangerous a primitive species can be when you back them into a corner. The battle for Earth was far from over. But in linking human consciousness to quantum reality, humanity had just changed the rules of engagement. The real question was, how would this evolution change humanity itself? The neural link. Deep beneath the Himalayan mountains, Dr. Sarah Walker stared at the quantum interface readings from the ESS Hyperion's last transmission. 3 months had passed since Captain Santos' desperate gambit had saved thousands of civilians and changed everything humanity thought they knew about quantum physics. "Run it again," she ordered, and the holographic display flickered to life, showing Maya's neural patterns during the quantum merge. The captain's consciousness had expanded far beyond normal human limitations, achieving something that should have been impossible. "We've run it 50 times. Dr. James Chen protested from his workstation. "The pattern remains the same. Whatever Captain Santos accessed in the quantum field, it fundamentally altered her neural architecture. The question is, can we replicate it?" Sarah traced the complex wave patterns with her finger. The Nephilim had withdrawn after the Hyperion stand, but everyone knew they'd return. Earth's defenses were still in ruins, and one quantum-shielded ship wouldn't be enough next time. "We're missing something," she muttered. The quantum field didn't just respond to Maya's consciousness, it reached back, like it was waiting for us to achieve this level of development. A soft chime announced the arrival of Admiral Helena Rodriguez, her dark uniform bearing the new insignia of the Quantum Defense Initiative. "Please tell me you have good news, Doctor. Our long-range sensors show Nephilim fleet movements at the edge of the system." Sarah took a deep breath. "We've managed to stabilize the quantum interface, but there's a problem. The neural load that Captain Santos experienced, it should have killed her. We've run simulations on connecting other pilots to the system, and the results are consistently fatal." "Then how did she survive?" "Because she wasn't alone in there." Sarah brought up a new set of readings. "We've detected what we're calling quantum echoes, patterns of organized energy that suggest conscious intent. Something exists in the quantum field itself, something that helped Maya's mind adapt to the neural strain." The Admiral's expression hardened. "Are you suggesting we found aliens hiding in quantum space?" "Not aliens, more like ghosts in the machine. The quantum field maintains a kind of memory, recording the consciousness of species that achieved this level of development. When Maya connected to it, she didn't just access raw quantum energy, she accessed their accumulated knowledge. And now," Sarah gestured to a sealed chamber where the Hyperion's quantum core had been reinstalled, "we've built an improved interface, incorporating what we learned from Maya's experience. The system is ready for testing." But what? "The consciousness patterns we detected. They're getting stronger. It's like Maya's successful connection awakened something. The quantum field is more active now, showing signs of organization we've never seen before. Whatever knowledge is stored there, it wants to be found." Admiral Rodriguez studied the quantum core through the chamber's observation window. "How many pilots can you interface with the new system? That's the other problem. The neural architecture has to be precise. We can't just plug anyone in. We need pilots with specific brain wave patterns, people whose minds can naturally resonate with quantum frequencies. We've screened thousands of candidates, but only found 3 who might survive the connection." 3 ships against the entire Nephilim fleet. The Admiral shook her head. It's not enough. Maybe it doesn't have to be. Sarah brought up a new simulation. We've theorized that linked pilots might be able to share the neural load, creating a kind of quantum network. If it works, each ship would reinforce the others, allowing them to access more of the quantum field's potential without burning out their pilots' minds. And if it doesn't work, then we'll lose 3 pilots instead of 1. Sarah met the Admiral's gaze. But the Nephilim will be back soon, and they won't underestimate us again. We need every advantage we can get. Do it, Rodriguez ordered. But I want to meet these pilots first. If we're asking them to risk their minds interfacing with some ancient quantum consciousness, they deserve to know exactly what they're signing up for. Sarah nodded, but her attention was already turning back to the quantum readings. The patterns were shifting again, forming complex structures that almost looked like language. Whatever presence existed in the quantum field, it was becoming more active, more urgent. The real question was, what had humanity awakened, and would it be enough to save them from what was coming? In orbit, the ESS Hyperion floated in dry dock, its hull covered in scaffolding as engineers worked to integrate the improved quantum systems. Inside the ship's bridge, Captain Santos sat in her command chair, eyes closed, as she tried to recall the vast consciousness she touched during the battle. The quantum field felt different now, more aware, more focused. Something was stirring in the depths of reality itself, and humanity's desperate leap into quantum consciousness had just made them part of a game that had been playing out since the dawn of intelligence in the galaxy. Quantum rebellion. Lieutenant Kira Chen took a deep breath as the neural interface needles slid into her spinal port. Around her, the bridge of the ESS Prometheus hummed with nervous energy as the crew prepared for humanity's first coordinated quantum assault. Neural sync in 3. Dr. Walker's voice came through the comm. Remember, don't fight the quantum consciousness. Let it flow through you. Kira closed her eyes, feeling the familiar tingle as her mind expanded into the ship's systems. But this time was different. As her consciousness touched the quantum field, she felt others there. Captain Santos on the Hyperion, Commander Jackson on the Athena, their minds forming a complex web of shared awareness. Multiple Nephilim signatures detected. The tactical officer announced, "They're targeting the Mars colonies." The alien fleet materialized from quantum space, 30 ships strong, their crystalline hulls gleaming with charged energy. They'd returned with overwhelming force, determined to crush the human resistance before it could spread. "This is Captain Santos." Maya's voice resonated through both regular comms and the quantum link. "Remember your training. Let the field guide you. Quantum Formation Delta." The 3 human ships moved in perfect synchronization, their enhanced consciousness allowing them to anticipate each other's actions at the quantum level. Kira felt the ancient presence in the field growing stronger, feeding them tactical data faster than any computer could process. The Nephilim struck first, reality-shearing beams lancing out from their forward arrays. But the networked quantum shields adapted instantly, turning their own energy back against them. 3 alien ships disappeared in blinding explosions. "Impossible." The Nephilim commander's transmission crackled across space. "Your technology is primitive. You cannot." "We're not primitive." Kira found herself responding, her voice carrying harmonics that made the bridge crew shiver. "We're evolving." Through the quantum link, she felt the other's agreement. With each passing moment, their shared consciousness grew stronger, accessing deeper layers of the quantum field's stored knowledge. The Nephilim ships were broadcasting energy signatures that suggested confusion, even fear. But something else was happening. As the battle intensified, Kira began to perceive patterns in the quantum field that went beyond tactical data. She saw echoes of ancient conflicts, fragments of long-dead civilizations that had achieved similar breakthroughs, and warnings. "Sarah," she called out, using Dr. Walker's first name without thinking. "The field, it's showing me something. The Nephilim, They're not just attacking us. They're running from something. Through their shared consciousness, Maya and Jackson received the same revelation. The quantum field wasn't just a storage medium for advanced knowledge. It was a record of a cycle that had repeated countless times. Species would achieve quantum consciousness, evolve beyond their physical limitations, and then a massive energy surge erupted from the Nephilim flagship, different from anything they'd seen before. Emergency. Jackson's voice carried both terror and awe. They're trying to collapse the quantum field itself. No, Maya corrected through their link. They're trying to seal it, to stop whatever comes next. The quantum consciousness in their minds surged, showing them the truth. The Nephilim weren't conquerors. They were guardians, desperately trying to prevent younger species from making the same mistakes their ancestors had. But humanity's quantum evolution had already begun, and it couldn't be stopped. We have to make a choice. Kira realized, the knowledge flowing through their shared consciousness. We can retreat, try to deny this evolution, or we can push forward, face whatever drove the Nephilim to such extremes. The quantum field pulsed with new energy as the three pilots made their decision. Their ships moved as one, quantum shields morphing into weapons that the human engineers had never designed. The Nephilim fleet recoiled as reality itself seemed to bend around the human vessels. "You don't understand what you're doing," the Nephilim commander transmitted. "The quantum consciousness, it changes you, changes everything. We've seen civilizations transcend their physical forms, become beings of pure energy, and then vanish completely. We won't let it happen again." But it was too late. The quantum link between the three pilots had grown too strong, their shared consciousness expanding beyond normal space-time. Through their enhanced perception, they could see the truth. Humanity wasn't just fighting for survival anymore. They were on the cusp of an evolutionary leap that would redefine what it meant to be human. The battle raged on, but both sides now understood that the real war wasn't between species. It was between those who would embrace quantum evolution and those who would resist it at all costs. And as Kira felt her consciousness continuing to expand, touching minds across light years of space, she wondered if either side truly understood what they were fighting for anymore. Evolution's edge. Dr. Sarah Walker's hands trembled as she reviewed the latest neural scans. The quantum pilot's brain patterns had become almost unrecognizable, their consciousness expanding in ways that defied conventional neuroscience. After their victory at Mars, the changes had accelerated dramatically. "Their neural architecture is rewriting itself," she explained to Admiral Rodriguez in the secure bunker beneath Geneva. "The quantum field isn't just enhancing their capabilities, it's fundamentally altering what they are." The Admiral studied the holographic displays showing the pilots' vital signs. Maya, Kira, and Jackson floated in quantum suspension tanks, their bodies glowing with strange energies. Are they still human? That depends on how you define human. Sarah brought up new data streams. Their ability to process quantum information has increased exponentially. They can perceive multiple realities simultaneously, communicate instantly across vast distances, even manipulate space-time at a fundamental level. But their core personalities, their memories, their essential selves, those remain intact. For now. A sudden alert drew their attention to the long-range sensors. The Nephilim had been quiet since the Mars engagement, but now massive energy signatures were appearing at the edge of the solar system, different from their previous attacks. "They're desperate." Maya's voice echoed through the quantum field, making everyone in the room flinch. Though her body remained in the suspension tank, her consciousness could project itself anywhere. "They're bringing weapons that could tear reality apart." "The Nephilim aren't wrong about the risks," Kira added, her presence manifesting as shifting patterns of quantum energy. "We've seen it in the field's memories. Species that achieved full quantum transcendence, something happened to them. Something the Nephilim fear more than death." Admiral Rodriguez straightened her uniform. "Then why continue? If the danger is real." "Because we don't have a choice anymore." Jackson's quantum presence joined the others. The evolution has already begun, not just in us, but in everyone we've linked with through the quantum field. Humanity is changing, and we can either guide that change or let it destroy us. Sarah watched as new data streamed across her monitors. The quantum field was growing stronger, more coherent. Random humans around the world were beginning to show signs of quantum sensitivity. The evolution was spreading. The Nephilim are approaching with planet-killer weapons, Maya reported. But they're conflicted. Their quantum signatures show massive internal disagreements. Some of them want to help us control the evolution. Others want to annihilate us completely. Through the quantum field, they could all sense the massive fleet approaching. Over 100 ships, armed with weapons that could unravel the fabric of space-time. But they could also sense something else. Fear. The Nephilim weren't just afraid of what humanity might become. They were afraid of what their own actions might unleash. "We need to make a decision," Sarah said, looking at the Admiral. "The pilots can probably stop the Nephilim fleet, but the energy released could accelerate the quantum evolution beyond our ability to control it. Or, Rodriguez prompted, or we try to communicate. Show them that this evolution doesn't have to end in transcendence and disappearance, that there might be a middle path." The quantum field pulsed with new energy as the pilots considered this. Through their enhanced perception, they could see possibilities branching out into infinite futures. In some, humanity ascended to pure energy and vanished like all the others. In others, they were destroyed by the Nephilim's desperate attack. But there were other paths, harder to perceive, but potentially more significant. "They're charging their reality killer weapons," Kira reported. "We have minutes to decide." Sarah looked at the Admiral, then at the shifting quantum patterns that represented their evolved pilots. "Whatever we do it together. That's what makes us human, not our physical form, but our ability to face the unknown as one." The quantum field resonated with their decision, and for a moment, Sarah thought she could perceive what the pilots saw. Endless layers of reality. The accumulated knowledge of countless civilizations, and the possibility of a future that no species had yet been brave enough to choose. The Nephilim fleet drew closer, their weapons ready to fire. But in the quantum field, something new was taking shape, a possibility that neither extinction nor transcendence was inevitable. The real test of humanity's evolution wasn't whether they could ascend beyond physical form, but whether they could find a way to evolve while remaining true to their essential nature. The final confrontation was about to begin, and its outcome would determine not just humanity's fate, but the future of consciousness itself in the galaxy. Unity Protocol. The quantum field blazed with unprecedented energy as the Nephilim fleet approached Earth. Maya, Kira, and Jackson's merged consciousness expanded through space-time, touching the minds of every quantum-sensitive human on the planet. Through their enhanced perception, they could see the wave of transformation spreading across humanity. Not a forced evolution, but an invitation to something new. "Reality killer weapons at 90% charge," Kira reported, her consciousness resonating through the quantum network. "If they fire, the damage won't just destroy Earth. It'll create a cascade that could unravel space-time throughout the entire sector." In the Geneva bunker, Dr. Sarah Walker watched as new quantum patterns emerged in the field. The pilots' merged consciousness had grown beyond anything their original experiments had predicted, but instead of losing their humanity, they had somehow become more human. Their empathy and understanding expanded along with their perception. "Nephilim flagship is broadcasting," Maya announced. Through their shared consciousness, everyone connected to the quantum field could feel the alien commander's desperation and fear. "This is your final warning." The Nephilim transmission carried both sound and quantum resonance. "We have witnessed the cycle dozens of times. Species achieve quantum consciousness, transcend their physical forms, and vanish beyond the boundaries of known space-time. The pattern cannot be broken." "You're wrong." The response came not just from the pilots, but from thousands of newly quantum-sensitive humans around the world, their minds linking together in a vast network of shared consciousness. We see what you've seen in the quantum field, but you've misunderstood. Those civilizations didn't vanish. They transformed. And they left behind more than just memories. Through their expanded awareness, humanity could finally perceive the truth. The quantum field wasn't just a repository of knowledge. It was a bridge, carefully constructed by each species that had achieved quantum evolution. Not to transcend existence, but to expand it. Now, Sarah ordered as the Nephilim weapons reached full charge. At her command, every quantum-sensitive human on Earth opened their minds fully to the field. The pilot's consciousness served as a focal point, channeling the combined mental energy of thousands into a new configuration of reality. The quantum field erupted with power as humanity achieved something unprecedented, not individual transcendence, but collective evolution. Their consciousness expanded not away from their physical forms, but through them, transforming the very nature of space-time around Earth. The Nephilim weapons fired, reality-killing energy lancing toward the planet. But it encountered something they had never seen before. A quantum field strengthened not by technology or individual consciousness, but by the combined will of an entire species choosing to evolve together. Impossible, the Nephilim commander whispered as their weapons dissipated harmlessly against the transformed space around Earth. The pattern. You've changed it. We chose a different path. Maya responded, her consciousness now part of something far larger than herself. Not ascension, not stagnation, but transformation. The quantum field doesn't just store knowledge. It connects all conscious beings across space and time. Those who came before us weren't trying to escape existence. They were building a bridge. Through the quantum network, humanity could feel the shock rippling through the Nephilim fleet as they finally understood. Their civilization had spent millennia trying to prevent other species from repeating what they saw as a tragic pattern of transcendence and disappearance. But in doing so, they had missed the greater purpose of quantum evolution. Join us, Kira offered, her consciousness reaching out to the Nephilim ships. Not to transcend or to fight, but to connect. To become part of something greater while remaining who we are. The quantum field pulsed with new potential as the Nephilim fleet hung in space, their weapons powered down. Through their shared perception, humanity could see the alien crew members experiencing their own awakening, their rigid beliefs giving way to new understanding. Sarah watched in awe as the quantum patterns shifted again, showing possibilities that no one, human or Nephilim, had imagined. The evolution they had feared wasn't an end, but a beginning. Not a transcendence beyond physical form, but an expansion of what physical form could mean. The Unity Protocol, Jackson whispered through the quantum field. That's what the others were trying to tell us. Not individual ascension, but collective connection. A way for consciousness to grow without losing itself. As the Nephilim ships began powering down their weapons, the quantum field resonated with a new kind of energy. Not the desperate fear of extinction, or the lonely path of transcendence, but the shared joy of species learning to evolve together, maintaining their uniqueness while reaching for something greater. Humanity had done more than survive. They had broken a cycle of fear that had lasted for millions of years, showing that evolution didn't have to mean losing what you were, only expanding what you could become. And in doing so, they had opened a door not just for themselves, but for all species ready to take the next step together. The Ghost Protocol, it turned out, had never been about weapons or defenses. It was an invitation, passed down through the quantum field by countless civilizations, waiting for someone to understand that the greatest evolution wasn't in transcending existence, but in transforming it through the power of shared consciousness and collective growth. The future was no longer a choice between extinction and transcendence. Humanity had found a third path, and they would not walk it alone.